Hi everyone, PJ from the Paper Factory. I'm here today at Maitland Library doing a workshop for some children, and I thought this would be a great opportunity in between classes just to run through the setup. So if you're considering having me come to your school, or if you wanted to do something like this yourself, a really great way to set it up. Okay, so over here we have 4 parts to paper making. So we have the pulping, we have the pulling, the pressing and the drying. So over here we've got our pulping, which is Daisy, my Hollander beater. I'm just going to put my sunglasses on because it's really sunny here today. So here we've got Daisy over here, so the children can jump on Daisy and have a ride of her. She's very old, so I do tell them to go nice and steady. Daisy is actually named after a World War I artillery horse. So she took a lot of, obviously, the artillery to the front lines. She is the only pedal-powered Hollander beater in the Southern Hemisphere, which is something pretty spectacular. Underneath here, you would just see, while I remember, this container of water. I'm very conscious of water consumption, and so what we basically do is, so from today I will fill up all the tubs that I bring up here with the water from this particular workshop. Then I will take it back to the studio and use it, or I will then take it to the next workshop. So wherever I'm going, that particular location I'll only use maybe 10 litres of water from that particular location, and then I'll keep carrying it along to each one, because obviously water's a really important commodity at the moment, and so we use it very wisely. So that's obviously our pulping station. Over here I do have a tub of pulp, just so the children know what it looks like and they can get in there and feel it. Some children will either love this or hate it, and it's completely up to you. If you've got children who are avoiding it at all costs, we do have gloves, so they can put gloves on so they don't actually get the sensation of the pulp. Then we have our paper making station. So obviously the next part is the pulling part. So we set up 10 different stations, so we can do 10 children at once. We can do more than that, but this particular workshop is set up for 10. So they each have a vat. We've got obviously the water with some pulp in there, and they each get a mold, decal, sponge, and then a plastic backing. For these particular workshops, I actually use plastic sheets. I am not a fan of single-use plastics. However, with this particular one, they're allowed to take them home. If they're not going to use them at home, I've asked them to bring them back to the library, and the library will send them back to me, so then I can keep reusing them. So I don't mind if children want to keep them, as long as they're going to use them and they're not going to end up in landfill. We always supply you with some towels, because the children always get wet, so they can wipe their hands. We have aprons as well, so if the children want to wear aprons, they can. The third part to paper making is pressing, which is what we use our sponges for. And then the fourth part is drying, which I have a drying table over here. You can see some here already drying. We always supply cardboard backings, so when the children are finished, they can put their papers on there and they can take them home without them folding and getting creased. So it's a really great activity, because they get to take the paper home with them that particular day. Over here I always set up my gratitude table as well. So this is our gratitude table. It has a lot of handmade paper in here, and the children get to write a thank you letter to either one of the emergency personnel, or all of them, or the military, and then post it in our letterbox. We'll see. So we've got some in there already, and then I will send them off to the relevant officers. So that's our setup. We have a really fun time. There isn't any kind of there is structure to it, as the fact is I sit down and we basically talk about paper making and the history of it and how it's evolved and the process and what we are doing to make paper. From there, once the children have got the main components of paper making, honestly, they just go with it. This morning I taught them the basics, and then within 2 or 3 sheets of paper, the children can make as many pieces of paper as they want in the time slot. But we had a lot of children going over to the garden, taking flowers off the ground that had already fallen or leaves and pressing them into the paper. Now that's something that's done quite commonly with paper making. It wasn't something that I introduced to the children, that's just something that they artistically came up with. So it's a really beautiful way to get your children into paper making and doing something that's tactile and gets the creative juices flowing. So that's what a setup looks like. If you're interested in having me come out and do a workshop for you, I would love to. Just give me a call or contact me and we can go from there. You have an awesome day and I shall speak to you next time. Bye.